I showed a bunch of people that video at work.
Did
Not
you?
A bunch, like 3 people. It's so funny. I'm like, right at the end, I'm like, let's give him a show.
Yeah. Do you know?
Yeah,
what you were,
that worked really well.
do you know what you were
remember the
talking about
context.
too?
I don't remember the
Oh,
context of
no.
that.
Yeah, we were. Ben was talking about his fucking bulge with his trunks. And Nick was like, "You don't want him to see the outline of your pecker." And Ben's like, "Yeah, that's what I was talking about." And then Nick's just like, "Give him a show." Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to the Fifth Line Podcast, Season 2, Episode 1. We're back, gentlemen, after a month and a half, I think.
Was it?
I think it was
Nice little
about
break.
that. It was about that. Nice break.
Nice little
yeah.
breaky poo.
It was, yeah.
Yeah. Lots to catch up on, obviously. And we're just looking forward to a new season, looking forward to having hockey back.
Much excite.
Yep. So, how was everyone's break? Whoa.
It's pretty
We'll
good.
start with Nick.
It was good. I'm trying to think here. What did I do over the summer? Golf. Got it.
Yeah.
Golf and work. Not as much fishing. I don't know. Good though. It was nice to have a little break, but it's nice to be back here talking to the boys about
Yeah,
some
that's
hockey
right.
again.
Yeah, we haven't had our weekly
Because
meeting.
the season is upon us.
Just about.
Soon
Yeah.
Just about.
Less than a month now.
Yeah.
All right, Rick. We'll head over. Actually, you know what? We're gonna save you for last, Rick.
Because you got the most to say.
Because you have,
Oh, yeah.
you
I
have some stuff to talk
yeah.
about. But Benny,
Yeah, I do.
how was your
I
break?
mean,
bud?
I'm not gonna lie. The most exciting thing I did this summer was probably what we did before
Yes.
we took our break. So like,
True,
kind
true,
of already
true.
went through all that, but we'll have a little more to say about that later, I think.
Yes.
Don't
Same
we?
for me, by the way. Yeah, it's pretty much the same for me.
I've just been chilling the last little bit, just working, chilling. It's been nice to have a little bit of a break, but I am very excited because us coming back means hockey's coming back.
That's right. That's right. I same as Ben basically. I had a nice chill summer. Then we had that little rendezvous down there. That was quite fun.
The grind
It's boost.
What?
He wanted to say it not as least French as possible. Rondes voice. Or no,
I
Rondes
see.
vows.
I see. But yeah, that's pretty much it. And now we're gonna go to the man of the moment. Rick had a big ass trip out west.
I had, yeah, so little backstory. In 2019, I got the chance to go to Washington. And I was like, it was amazing. I went to Olympic National Park, and I really wanted to go back. And then obviously COVID hit. And after being in grad school and everything online, I was like, you know what? I'm vaccinated. Like, this is, at the time I made this trip, things were getting better. I know there's other variants out there now. But I was like, you know what? I really want to go on a vacation. So me and my girlfriend, Caroline, went to Washington, and we hiked Mount Rainier National Park for 3 days. And then we explored the Seattle area, Seattle for 1 day, but the Seattle area for 3 days. And it was an amazing trip. I don't know. Did you guys, I need to send you guys some pictures from that trip.
I saw
'Cause
your.
I finally got to edit some pictures.
Oh, nice. I saw your Insta post, which was pretty cool. The big scrolling.
Some of
one.
those. Yep. So I have plenty more pictures where that came from. But obviously, as you know, Mike, it's very hard when you have a bunch of pictures to go through and edit. Sometimes it's kind of overwhelming.
Yeah, it takes you a little bit.
Yeah. But that being said, so the big hockey part of that trip. So I saw Climate Pledge Arena, and it was really cool. So I'll let you guys in on kind of like the setup they have. So there's this place called Seattle Center, and it's basically around the Space Needle. There's no really huge high apartment buildings. It's the Space Needle, which has a museum at the bottom, and then it's like all these parks and places to hang out, and it's this really big and open area. So like before games, there's like areas you can set up and picnic and tailgate and do all this amazing stuff.
Dang.
So I'm really pumped to see what that's going to look like opening night. Like, if, I'm assuming people are going to be out and about, especially because it's outside, so you can kind of distance outside. And the arena itself is really weird looking. They built so it's not like when you look at MSG and it's just this humongous arena. Like Climate Pledge is kind of low to the ground because the rink is, I guess, they dug like into the ground.
Oh, so it's like under the ground, kind of.
Yeah, so it's kind of like under. Yeah, it's kind of like under the ground, which is very interesting. Yeah, you almost miss it. Like you can miss Climate Pledge very easily.
That's weird.
Which is very interesting. Yeah, it's really weird, but super cool. And when I was there, unfortunately, no jerseys were on sale. The only thing they did have was a sweatshirt. It was like $75. I'm like, I don't like the Kraken that much right now. If there was a Jordan Eberle t-shirt, I would have gotten that.
Yeah, they didn't even have player
wasn't.
shirts.
Nothing.
Dang.
I guess
No
you gotta wait until all the initial trading and signing and all that jazz is done before you go making stocks of all the different players. That makes sense.
But they did just release the jersey September 15th, and
they did
a little factoid. So yes, they
They
did.
did.
But
it's out now. You can get it.
I don't know. So everyone can get it.
I didn't know.
And I flew out of SeaTac Airport, Seattle Tacoma Airport. If you're flying Alaska Airlines and you are flying out of any airport in Washington and you have a Kraken jersey, believe it or not, you'll get free priority boarding. I just saw that on Twitter the other day. That's pretty cool, right?
That's
Way to
cool.
incentivize people in Washington. Yeah. But I was just like, oh, dang it. We flew Delta, but I was like, oh, that would be cool to get priority boarding. So I would have got a jersey if they were on sale. But yeah, super cool. I'm so pumped. I want to go to Washington and watch the Kraken play. Like it is
That'd be cool.
After seeing that arena and just seeing, I will go back there. But yeah, go out to Washington, people. If you haven't been out west, go out west. But Washington's one of my personal favorite spots. And Nick, I think he's going there right now.
Seems to be, eh?
All right, Nick, you can't go to Washington.
Yeah, Nick, you're not allowed. Not allowed to go to Washington. We have to record the podcast, Nick, all right? Now that you're back.
Okay.
We have a job to do.
I got too toasty.
Little technical difficulties. Ben lost his jersey. Someone stole it off of his back.
Yeah, they were so fucking fast. I didn't even see him.
We're back now, yeah. The Flash came in and took that shit.
Yeah.
But we're back. And let's just roll right into team talk. Eric, that trip sounded fun. I would like to do that one day.
Yes.
We're gonna go roll into team talk here. Who would we like to talk about first? I don't want to talk about my Bolts yet, unless you want me to.
It's got the minimalist change to the team.
Oh,
so,
the Sens, you mean?
Basically, I just said it. The Senators haven't changed their team since last year. They lost a goalie. And
they lost a few vet guys that I think.
Yeah, they lost a couple of the older guys. Yep. And they made a couple all the signings they made really aren't like world beater signings.
They're not big impact signings. Yeah.
Like a couple of the guys that they got that are back on the team were on the team previously, like in past seasons. Like Nick Holden was there for I think a season, and then Scott something, I don't remember how to say his last name, something French, I believe. French. Jesus.
Sabarin?
Something Francais.
He's French, isn't he?
Yeah, I mean it's a French name. I don't know if he's like French Canadian, but
what is it?
So he's back. He's back on the team.
Sabarin.
Yeah.
Oh.
Or Sabarin.
He played for them last year at one point, and then they traded him, and then now he's back. Okay. My biggest gripe about this season is that they really didn't do a lot to help the defense.
They didn't do a lot of anything.
And they still have to sign Brady Tkachuk.
We're back. I'm getting there.
He's getting there.
We're back with the same goalie tandem as last year. Our primary goalie tandem as last year with Gustafsson and Matt Murray, who better have a better year. I'm going to lose my shit.
Hopefully,
and the big thing is they still haven't signed back Brady Tkachuk.
Yeah.
But I've seen a couple articles recently because I'm very concerned about this.
I would be too.
Like somebody's going to put an offer sheet on this guy.
Yeah, how has that not happened yet?
The lucky thing, I mean, it's just because there's no team or like anybody who would want to do it would have to do so much cap gymnastics to make it work.
True. Like, because he's from what I saw, reportedly they've offered him an 8. They've offered him an 8x8. which
that's what I saw too.
Is good. I but that's the same thing they gave Shabbat a year and a half ago, 2 years ago, and I'm like, okay, I don't know if you guys can. I don't know if you can give those guys the same contract. They're not the same player. Well, one's way more valuable than the other.
Yeah, that's true. But I think $8 million's a good number, but I think he doesn't want to lock himself in.
Yeah, he doesn't want to lock to 8 years in Ottawa, I don't think.
The biggest thing I think that biggest reason why he hasn't resigned, also what I've read, is that he wants to see the team put the pieces around him before he commits to him long term. And, people argue, okay, well, you do have the pieces around you. You've got a new goalie. You've got a couple guys on defense, you have one good guy on defense. That's it.
Shabbat.
Then you got two. Well, their forwards are in a better spot too.
Around
They've got because they re-signed Colin White last year. They re-signed Drake Batherson this year. They got Josh Norris for another season or two, and then they got Timmy Boy.
The boy.
So like their forwards are going to be good. I think the biggest concern is the back end and
everything on the back end. I'd say, yeah.
If I was Kachuk, I'd be like, give me a 3-year contract,
little gapper,
and I can see why the team wouldn't want to. If he has 3 good, really good years, he's going to turn from an $8 million forward to a $10 million forward.
He turned into a $10 million winger. There's only one of those, gentlemen. And I guess he is worth it, Marner.
Yeah, so then they're going to be screwed if that happens, which,
no, Kucherov's not even $10 million.
That's my expectation, though, is that they'll probably sign him to some bridge deal, and then they're going to be screwed in 4 years and probably lose him. But whatever. I'm not overly concerned about it, though. Like, they're going to get something done with him here, because when they re-signed Shabbat, they kept it quiet until training camp, like the day of, and then re-signed him.
Oh, okay.
So I think that's a thing that organization does, is try to keep their contract negotiations like quieter. But I don't know. I'm also seeing that he could miss some of training camp, which would also suck because it's such a young team. But we shall see. Yeah. That's the biggest update from the Senators, though. So I think they're going to be competitive this year. I don't think they're going to be good. I think they're going to be a mid-pack Atlantic team. That's
middle of the pack,
middle to lower end of the pack.
Okay.
So that's solely going to depend on how good their goalie play is, too.
Should be 8. Should be 8 in every one now.
Yeah. So what are you expecting? Like a 5 to 7 finish?
Yeah. They're not going to be last. We know Buffalo's going to be last.
That's going to be Buffalo.
Could be. Yeah.
Detroit's going to be somewhere in the mix,
also,
probably. But
we'll get to this in the coming weeks too. But Detroit's got way better too.
The
back end of that Atlantic isn't like, it's not bad anymore. It's just like you got a lot of teams like very close to each other, where like,
and then Tampa,
Montreal kind of like leads that pack because of them going to the Cup, kind of. But like you have a lot of these teams that are really close to each other that are like good-ish. I guess is the best way to explain it. And then you got like Buffalo at the back end, who the fuck knows what's going on with them. But then you got top tier teams too. So like you're gonna see some of those good teams from last year fall off. Like if anybody thinks Carolina's gonna be good this year, then you're fucking crazy. Because
I can see
they'll be okay.
I can see situations where they could end up okay, but like a lot of things are gonna have to go right.
Listen, we're gonna get to all that, gentlemen. But I want to talk about our teams.
My
feelings on the Ottawa Senators.
All right, I like it.
That's all I've got to say about that.
Eric, how about your Isles?
Yeah.
See, we're going with the
This is an interesting one here, gentlemen. This one could take us a bit of time.
I did like that one day where Lou was like, here's all our players.
Perfect segue, because that's what we're about to talk about. So the Isles signed Casey Cizikas, Kyle Palmieri, Ilya Sorokin, and Anthony Beauvillier. We're going to go through these signings, gentlemen. Casey Cizikas, a 6-year, $2.5 million AAV contract.
I can't believe they signed him that long.
That's long. That seems long.
And he's like 34.
Palmieri. Okay, we're gonna talk about this after. Kyle Palmieri.
It's like, shut up. Let me get through this.
Palmieri, 4 years, $5 million AAV. Sorokin, 3 years at a $4 million AAV. And then Beauvillier, 3 years, 4.15 mil AAV. That's a very good contract. That's my favorite of the bunch. I want to start there. Do you guys agree with that? Out of that bunch I just said,
I like that one the most. Yeah.
Probably a little shorter than you would want, but still, that value is
pretty good.
That's pretty damn good.
Is really good. Okay. The next person I want to go to. Though. So that's the next person I want to go to. Sorokin, 3 years, 4 mil. I think 4 mil, to be honest. He played really well. I would have an issue with that, but 3 years, so it's like, the terms.
If it goes wrong, it's not like
you can get.
He's inevitably they're gonna be their future goalie. Like,
and that's exactly what
are we expecting from Varlamov at this point? Like, he's late 30s.
He's aging.
Yeah, he's not much longer.
He's been around for a while.
Is he late 30s?
He's been there for a bit.
Or mid 30s, late 30s. But Varlamov hasn't fallen off yet
for a good amount of time.
He either started in Colorado or Washington,
33.
and then went to one or the other, depending. I don't know. He's only
33.
I thought he was older than that.
So that's based on that again,
that's sort of late for NHL.
Yeah,
and goalies usually go pretty old.
Yeah,
but goalies usually go pretty old. So the Sorokin contract I'm pretty happy with. He has all the tools to show that he can be a successful starting goalie at one point for the Islanders. So I like that. Kyle Palmieri, that's the interesting one. 4 years, 5 mil for me. That's my interesting one.
And that might be
Kyle Palmieri.
How old is he?
31, I think.
Yeah.
He's the youngest of like those older group of forwards, like him and Foligno, and like those guys who got dealt at the deadline.
The youngest of the old guys.
He's like 31.
Yep.
Doesn't make you young.
I think here's the thing with Palmieri. He's shown he's capable. Like, he's capable of being a very, useful player. Obviously a serviceable player. But yeah, 4 years, 5 mil. That's a decent chunk of cap. And it is 4 years, but considering his age,
30.
That's something I don't know. We'll have to. Oh, okay. So I don't know. I guess their plan is right before he's supposed to drop off. Again, so the term of most of these signings, I'm very okay with. And Palmieri's probably going to be playing with Barzal, I'd imagine.
Oh,
Barzal's finally going to have not Leo Komarov on his freaking wing.
Well, here's the question,
his hockey DB. I'm looking at his hockey DB. He didn't have the best year last year, but before that, 2019-20, 45 points in 65 games. The year before that, 50 points, 74 games. The year before that, 44 points, 62 games. Like,
very useful play. Yeah, he's good.
Here's the thing, though. For 4 years, just based on how that man grows facial hair, he's going to have to shave daily.
Yeah, he is.
He is going to have to shave daily.
They're going to do a percentage at the end. The percentage of his salary spent on razor blades.
Yeah, right.
No, it was part of the deal was a brand deal with Gillette. It's fine.
Oh, yeah. Islanders sponsored by Gillette.
So
sponsored by Manscaped.
Manscaped. I want to get to the last contract, and this is as an Islander fan, I have a lot to say about this. So Casey Cizikas, Seattle would have given him 5 mil probably. That was
separately. What?
Yes. Okay. But we're gonna look at this. So the Islanders got to keep him and keep the identity line essentially for 2.5 mil AAV, and I know it's 6 years. Every time Islanders fans or the Islanders media talk about Casey Cizikas, if they say, "Oh, who's one player on the Islanders that embodies like the culture and what they want the team to be like?" It's Casey Cizikas. So when I see a 6-year deal for Cizikas and it's that cheap, when he falls off, it's easy to get rid of him, right? People will be like, "Oh, well, we can undershoot that too a little bit, right? Let's give him 1 point something, right? If they have to move him when he falls off."
Yeah.
But right now, considering they got him 6 years, 2.5, they're like, that helps the cap a lot because they had to worry about re-signing all these players, and they essentially made the decision to again. And this is kind of I don't want to say it's like Tampa because Tampa had the Islanders have good players, but Tampa had all these superstars, and when they lost to Columbus, they basically made the decision they could blow it up or say nope, we're sticking with this team because we know they can do it. And the Islanders have essentially just done that same thing.
Stuck with the team, yeah.
We got to the conference finals. we think that they can do. And that's pretty interesting. I really want this team to do it. They're an awesome team. It's just going to be up to, again, I think it's a lot of things have to go right for this team to be able to do it.
I wrote this in my notes. Of our 4 teams, and this isn't really saying anything huge, the Isles have the best. They have the best chance to win the cup.
So,
Mike, how down on your Lightning are? What do you?
Well, we'll get to that in a minute, Benny.
So
What's up, Nick?
Anders Lee's back next year too, which
True.
helps them considerably.
Very important.
They also did they not sign Parise as well?
Oh, and Parisi, thank you.
They did
Not
sign
that,
him.
not that signing
Yeah.
him really does shit for that team anyway. He's like 6 years past his prime, but
Yeah.
he's
It's a good
still
third or fourth
I mean,
liner to have.
exactly.
Yeah.
And then you got your latest signing.
That's the one I want to talk about. So, all right. So now we've gotten that out of the way. The Islanders, again, they're going to go for it this year. And
Clearly,
this is the
Go
perfect
for it.
segue because their expectations right now, we're going to be in the playoffs and we're going to make a deep run. And what do you do when you are going to plan for a deep run? You go out and get like sometimes veteran pieces.
You
for
sign a
super cheap,
giant.
right? Serviceable. They sign Zdeno Chara, and I cannot believe this. I was looking this up, guys. He was drafted in 1996. We were not born.
1 year
was.
before we all came
Nick
in.
was.
Shit, Nick was
No,
born.
no, he wasn't. He was born in December.
Oh, he wasn't. Okay, yeah,
it was
yeah,
after.
So that is absolutely crazy. I forget that sometimes. I remember. So my dad, he's obviously been an Islanders fan his whole life, and he talks about like having Zdeno Chara on the Islanders. So the fact that in my lifetime, I get to see him come back
That is
to
kind
the
of cool.
team he was drafted to before I was born. That's pretty awesome.
It's just
Yeah.
That's pretty awesome. I'm excited.
I did
just
enjoy
to see him in an
the.
Islanders jersey.
I enjoyed the tweet where he's like, I had to dust them off a little bit, but they
Yeah,
still
with the
fit
old
or whatever
The
it was with the old Islanders
old ass
jerseys.
classic jerseys.
I can't
that was
believe
cool.
he
Yeah,
sat that
those-
long though. Like
On the market?
I can't believe he sat on the market that long.
I mean,
he's not that good
He's
anymore.
44.
Like,
He's
he
44.
Played good
dude.
last year though, didn't he?
He's serviceable as like your last guy or like an extra guy or like 6-7 area, but like if you're depending on him for anything other than that, it's probably not the best idea. at this point.
didn't he end up with a regular role in Washington? And I mean that didn't really work out great. At least not in the
No.
playoffs.
No, that was
no.
a situation. I honestly don't know that much about what he did in Washington, but I think he was used further down the lineup because you got a John Carlson there already, and it's like you're fine.
Johnny
I
Sink.
think they used him more than what you would expect to have to use somebody at his age, but
Yeah.
at least with
So,
I mean, you wouldn't think with the Islanders he's gonna get that big.
No, he'd probably because you guys have a pretty solid decor.
yeah,
Like-
decor. Yep, we
It
do.
must be nice.
Yeah. Same.
Yeah, why didn't the Sens pull the trigger on Chara? What's up with
I
that?
don't
Yeah,
know.
bring him back.
Why would Chara go to the Sens?
Yeah.
Oh, maybe
fuck
that
was
was
that?
it. Maybe that was it.
Wait, no, didn't Chara played for the Sens?
Yeah.
He went from the Islanders
yeah.
to the Sens
To
to
the
the
Sens,
Bruins.
because that was the infamous Alexei Yashin deal. I don't want to get into that right now.
Oh,
That's
yeah.
all I have to say about.
That was terrible.
That's yeah.
Oh, no.
That's all I have to say about the Islanders, and that Ben is a perfect summary of that. That's terrible. So
Yeah.
we're gonna just leave it at
I
that.
have a really cool old Alexei Yashin card though, where it's like a different shape. It's like an oval with like 2 square corners, and it's a holographic. And when you turn it, it looks like Yashin's saying something.
What's he saying?
I don't know. He
Suck
just
my
goes like
balls.
he just goes. Ah.
Well, here's a question. If we had all had hockey cards and they did that and it looked like we were saying something, what would each of our cards be saying?
Gotta say, oh yeah, bud.
Okay, so Ben's saying, "Oh yeah, bud."
Yeah.
I can't say it because we could have children viewers on. I
don't think we have children viewers.
Why don't you say it? And if it's particularly
I
bad,
think you
I'll bleep
guys
it out.
know what I would say.
I don't.
There's a
I think
wide
you have to
variety.
say
of
it.
things
Yeah,
you could
right.
say.
There's so
Say
many
it.
things that you could say.
In terms of possible
I'll
profanity-laden
blink it
things you
out.
can say,
I'll blink it
there's a
out.
very wide range.
I actually have to think about it because I
right.
do have some good ones.
Rick's would be eat your vegetables.
No, honestly, okay, I
I'm just kidding.
appreciate
I'm
that.
just kidding.
Wouldn't mine just be not saying anything? Wouldn't I just be like, it's like, smiling or something? I don't know.
True. Yeah,
Like,
yours wouldn't
what
be
would I
saying
saying?
anything. Yeah.
No, mine would definitely be, "Hey Ben, you're a bitch."
Oh, there we go.
Back to that
There
one.
it is. Yep, that's a
A
classic.
classic. A classic.
Mine would
fuck
be
you.
mine would be I'm going to Wendy's.
I love how you're just like you just roll with it, Ben. I love it.
Dude, he's desensitized to it after years in college.
I've heard that.
All right, Ben. How are your
What's
Habs
going
doing,
on?
bud? How are your Habs doing?
Yeah, let's segue.
Yeah.
I didn't like this offseason.
I really want to ride a Segway, by the way.
Your
Sorry.
centers are quite fucked.
Hey,
Yeah,
it's
right?
better now. It's better now since the addition of Dvorak. It's not ideal. No, it's not good.
Yeah.
I mean,
Losing two centers in one offseason.
Can we talk about like from most like the beginning of like signing like and losing guys to most recent? Because I do want to talk about the offer sheet stuff because that blew my mind how that happened. But bring us to how we got
It was
here.
an
Ben.
ultimate troll.
From
so
losing
if we look
losing in the
at-
Cup Finals to today.
Yes. If we look at right after Cup Finals, we roll into free agency. We immediately lose Phil Deneau. Not ideal. And this is after we had already had the situation come out where it was revealed Shea Weber was going to miss next year. So losing your best defensive center and he was the number one D-man in terms of minutes. It's not good. It's not ideal. It's not what you want. That wasn't a great start, I'm not gonna lie. And then losing Corey Perry was just like another extra added little twist of the knife because I friggin' fell in love with him on that run. Like he was so much fun on that run, and obviously maybe that doesn't mean you keep him around, but I thought they could have made it work. He expressed interest in being there, but then just didn't. And the thought was maybe around then that was Tampa offered him the extra year. I don't think Montreal did.
Yeah, could have been.
So there's that. I didn't love all that. David Savard's contract was a little rich for my blood, but it wasn't terrible for what he is, and they needed to get a defenseman. They needed D help.
He's
they needed
the
a guy.
He's the Shea Weber replacement, but with less minutes, I'm sure.
He's not quite the replacement for him.
Which he's not. He was never gonna be, because the immediate thing you will do once you lose Shea Weber is Jeff Petrie is now your number one defenseman.
Yep.
And every time over the last few years that Shea Weber has gone down has been every time that Jeff Petrie has just popped the hell off. And like, so, hey, maybe if he just gets to do it the whole time, who knows? But I expect a Petrie Edmondson pairing to be their top pairing going into this year, because as much shit as I gave Edmondson early on in that season, him and Petrie, I will eat all the crow. I mean, he's still not like it'd be better to have other defensemen in that spot, but him and Petrie did figure out a good, like they work well together. Like they figured out how to work it together, and I think that's probably going to start as their number one pair, which, you know, one thing I will say is they added so many more goals this offseason than they had, purely from the additions of Hoffman, and then Christian Dvorak's sneaky pretty okay based on what I've been looking at out of his time in Arizona. It's not great. It's not great.
The description
so,
of
expected to lead that power play now.
The description of he's pretty sneaky okay.
Well, like, because from everything I've gathered is he's more offensively gifted, less defensively gifted Phil Deneau. Like he's a fairly
so he's the opposite of Phil
responsible-
Deneau, or like he's just more in the middle.
He's a Phil Deneau with a little less defensive ability but more offensive ability.
So he's
he's
in
a
the middle,
pretty
kinda.
good two-way center kind of guy. Is gonna get a lot of those same kind of assignments too, but he was pretty key on Arizona's power play. He was a pretty good trigger man on that. Like he's got some good offensive abilities, and I'm excited to see what an entire season of Cole Caulfield, Mike Hoffman, and Christian Dvorak on a power play might do. So that could be interesting there.
Petrie up top running it.
Signings? Ooh, now you're. Ooh, I like that. Now you're talking.
Don't get a chubby over there.
And
Pan the
hopefully,
camera down.
from all reports I'm seeing, it's looking like Carey Price will be pretty much good to go for the season.
He was
If
out on the
not,
ice the other
if
day.
anything,
Enough.
maybe like might not be awesome for like the first week or so. Like, but it's not gonna be something where he's missing the first 2 months or something. Like he's
Even
gonna
if
be.
he does,
back.
doesn't he usually suck the first couple months anyway?
Yes.
Yep.
That does seem to be his trend, but with the whole rigmarole with Seattle, I almost said Syracuse. They managed to keep both Carey Price and Jake Allen. And what we saw out of Jake Allen last year is even when he was getting very, very little help, he carried that team kicking and screaming to a playoff spot. There were so many games where he basically got them a playoff spot. If they were relying on Caden Primo last year,
That poor guy.
It's not happening. So I'm excited to see how that could work there. Joe Drouin is back in the fold after he took an extended leave. It wasn't ever really released what for the reasons were, which is fine. Like, hey, if you just got to sort out your own stuff, you got to sort out your stuff. And I didn't really love a lot of the discourse around that on Habs Twitter, but it is what it is. People suck on Twitter.
Robin Leonard had a bunch of bad seasons too, and then he
it was mental
everybody
health
figured out that he had
stuff.
sleep apnea or he's an insomniac, so he can't sleep or whatever.
He had
and then
some
he
mental
was
health
dealing with his
issues,
own
too. I think
mental shit. So then he took some time off and came back, and now he's a stud.
I'm fairly certain he's come out and said on Twitter he's bipolar, so that's that situation there.
He did come back and own though.
Yeah, and he's fucking great.
Yeah,
so I'm
Isles gave him
excited
a
to
shot.
see what Drouin might be able to be coming into this next season. Because there was a couple of moments where actually before he left this season for that he was leading the team in points. I'm fairly certain. They were almost all assists. He couldn't score to save his life at the start of this season, but he was setting up goals like crazy. And then the year before, he was popping the hell off the first couple months of the year, and then got injured. And then COVID happened, and then everything. So I don't know, because like there's so much we saw out of him in Tampa that like he can't be this bad.
Yeah,
he can't be this bad.
Yeah, because he was skilled. He was crazy skilled in Tampa.
So I really do think a lot of it had to do with he just got thrown into a bad situation back in 17-18 where they traded for a winger and made him the number one center. So not the best of ideas.
Yeah, that's a mistake.
So I'm hoping to see he can maybe come back and have a strong year. If he gets maybe stuck with, I don't know, maybe a Suzuki Caulfield. He could be setting up Caulfield all day with some slick passes.
Could it also be like he's French Canadian? He's got to be.
Yeah, he is.
Could it also be like added pressure playing in Montreal?
I'm sure that's part of it, and I think he has said that's part of it. Like it's gonna add to it because he grew up a Habs fan. Like, yeah, it's gonna add to it, especially because the year he came in, they were bad. They were terrible bad. They were real bad. That was the year that got them the draft pick to get Kotkaniemi, which we'll get to.
Which was number 3.
Yeah, so it wasn't good. He came into a bad situation. So I'm hoping maybe
from a pretty decent
out.
Situation.
He gets stuck on a good line. And also the thing that I hear everybody being like, 18th place team, they're not going to be good going into this Atlantic division. I'm like, this is all fine. Yes. But we then watched an 18th place team get to practice for a week straight and actually finally instill the system that the coach wanted to all year, but couldn't because they had 25 games in 40 days. And then they went on a run to the Stanley. Like, I don't know how you can look at that regular season and then see them get Cole Caulfield at the very end, see their like little mini training camp, and then see the progression that they had over that Stanley Cup final run and be like, that season might have been a bit of an outlier, or they might not be fully like a complete picture of what this team is, just because it was a shitty year last year. Like there were so many different like COVID situations with the team, like nothing was going all that great. And it could also not go all that great this year. I can see there's a lot of variance possible with this Habs team because like I can see them finishing extremely low, or I can see them most likely situation. I can see them if they're getting in, it's gonna be like an 8th seed playoff like berth.
Yeah,
and they can maybe do some stuff because we found out they can apparently do things once they get to the playoffs. because there are
think-
two separate
I think-
games, but.
I think the biggest thing is people are quick to write them off because it's with hockey, right? It's very easy to.
Yeah.
Right, hockey's a weird sport like that. And also the Habs are one of those teams. It's like the Maple Leafs. It doesn't matter how good the Maple Leafs do; they're just going to be like everyone's just going to shit talk them all year. Same thing with, I don't know. I feel like all the Canadian teams, like just people just love to shit talk Canadian teams.
I will admit,
Yeah.
it's not a great situation they're going into this season in this Atlantic with the losses they had, with the everything. It's not great, but
Yeah.
it's a situation where I can see it going well if a lot of right things happen. If Nick Suzuki takes the jump that he really looked like he's gonna take by the end of that playoffs, like he was looking so strong. He's gonna get number one center minutes now. So he's gonna find out what if he's there or not real quick. So there's that, and again, it could go a lot of wrong ways. But Suzuki, Caulfield, and Toffoli had kind of gotten a really good thing going by the end of that playoffs, and they've basically all but said that they're probably gonna start with that to start the year at least. Because why wouldn't you? It
worked before.
Wrecked Vegas's shit. And then Tampa, but we'll forget about that.
No one wrecks their shit.
So like stuff like that. If
Except for
Norlander, who's like a big defense prospect for the Habs, if he can maybe come out of camp and impress and maybe vie for a spot, that would be a big plus. But yeah, no, they're going to be in tough. And made
Benny,
more in tough by the Jesperi Kotkaniemi situation.
Take us through that. Yeah.
Take us away.
You know, I was just hanging out in my apartment playing video games on a Saturday.
Set the scene,
and then I just look away from my game for a second. I don't know if I was playing Mario Kart or NHL or something. I was playing something. I don't think it was that day. But I just scroll over to the Twitter and I see the Carolina Hurricanes Twitter account has tweeted, "We have tendered an offer sheet to Jesperi Kotkaniemi for 1 year." And then I start seeing all of the
boom. That's what you get for doing it with Sebastian Aho back a few years ago.
Okay, but I'm gonna get to that because. But I see this tweet and then I see them start doing all their like French tweets and they changed their bio to French because Habs and Quebec, so very funny.
Yes,
just regular comedians eloquent. They are. But the Habs did Carolina a favor. They gave him a fucking great deal for Aho.
They really did. 5
years, 8 a year? What the fuck you mean?
Was it even that much? I thought it was less.
It was 5 years, $8 million a year.
Oh, okay.
I think, or it might have been 8.5. I think it was 8. But like, they were fine with it. The pretense of that one was they did the structuring of the contract, so it was basically all paid out in signing bonuses because they didn't think the owner would pay him because they thought he was cheap. And it's basically been all but confirmed that the owner was like, "Oh, fuck you," and then this chance came around, and they signed Jesperi Kotkaniemi to $6 million a year.
Only one though.
For a year. And don't ask me how any of this works. I don't understand the NHL's RFA system really at all. But from everything that I read from people that I trust, in this situation, had Montreal matched it, their offer next year would have to start with $6 million a year or 6 point whatever it was. It would have had to start with that.
I thought it was the opposite. I thought if Montreal tried to get him back, the offer would have to be above that.
No. So what happens is you would have to start with that initial dollar amount.
That's the base.
And then it would probably go up because you're negotiating a new contract. Well, if he has a good year anyway. But that was that situation. But if Carolina got the player, which they did, that doesn't apply. They can extend him for whatever the hell they want per year. And it's been all but confirmed in rumors that that's probably going to happen once January comes around. There's the rumored like 3 or 4 year, 3.5 to 4 mil a year deal is what they've been talking about, is everything I've heard. But
so wait, so does that mean that Carolina, when Aho's contract is up, is going to have to go above and beyond what the offer is now?
Carolina, that situation is kind of fun because Montreal, when they did that offer sheet, structured it so that it is going to walk him to UFA years. He is going to be a UFA as soon as that deal is done. So if he wants to come to Montreal, if he wants to sign another deal,
You want to be a habitant?
He can't have much longer there.
He's done
7 years,
the
couple
season
years?
it comes up is in 23-24.
So he's got
the summer of 24 he'll be up.
3 more seasons, 4 more
Or
seasons.
it might be 22-23, I don't know. So that's that. In terms of the whole losing Kotkaniemi, very sad because
Show it to us.
Oh no.
After
He fixed it, though. He fixed it.
after a few bad purchases in my younger years, I had decided to make a rule: no more current players. Not doing it. And this guy in his rookie year goes out and drops, I think it was 36 points or whatever. I'm like, shit, this kid's great. He's gonna be part of the future. I love him. He's so funny. All his faces are memes. There's so many reaction memes with KK. Perfect. He's great. So
He breaks his rule.
yeah, I broke the rule, and then
You fixed it though.
So this is kind of fun. You remember that mystery box thing you had sent me a link for, Mike? I bought one of those.
Oh.
And among it, there was from people who might know, Tricolor Sports had a mystery box thing at the end of the playoff run where they're like, here's, you get $75, you pay $75, you get a bunch of merch from the run. And part of that was a lovely patch.
Finals
and
patch.
I didn't know if I was going to put it on this because I was like, it feels kind of weird to put it on a finals you lose. But then I thought it really completed the jersey because he left after getting scratched at the end of these Stanley Cup finals. So it really ties it all together, I think.
Did he play in the final?
I think he played the first 2 or 3 games and then got
first
scratched.
3 games.
Which,
See,
I mean,
that's what-
admittedly, they're having some issues. It wasn't
Right there.
great. But
Him getting healthy scratched at the end of it is what blows my mind on how Carolina pulls the trigger on an offer sheet on that. Like, okay, he had a rookie season and gets scratched through the playoffs.
He was a rookie 2 years ago.
this was his 3rd season.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Okay. I thought he was a rookie
yeah.
this year.
No,
He's
this
young
was
enough
his
to be
3rd
one.
season.
But still, it's a very young guy. Gets healthy scratched through the playoffs. Basically doesn't play any in the cup final except for the first couple games. And then they're like, fuck it. Let's go get him. We're going to take
I think
him.
it was just purely a troll offer sheet.
I
I
mean,
think they want the player,
And then
but I think
Bergevin was like, you know what? Take him.
because once you, it was all bad. Like
It
he
wasn't
should have gotten like a 2 or 3 year, 3 to 3.5 mil-ish contract done months ago and avoided all of this. But they dicked around for a while, and then that offer sheet came in because Carolina did want to troll a bit, but also they apparently do want the player, which I got to imagine they think that them developing him in their system and allowing him to do what they want him to do is going to be a better situation than in Montreal. I can't rule that out. They are a much more fun, sort of offensively gifted, sort of fluid team, so that could be the case. They're betting pretty hard on that with a $6 million contract.
what do you think about them sticking him on the wing?
I'm not shocked. From everything I've heard for like what he wanted to do, he wanted to be center. So I'm kind of surprised. Like it must have come up in conversation with them when they were doing contract, be like what its usage would be.
Mm-hmm.
But it's not that weird. Until he's a
little older.
A lot of centers
developed.
start at wing. It's not that strange of a thing, which I always thought it was funny when Montreal fans started with Galchenyuk, and then when Kotkaniemi got moved to wing for a little bit in this season as well. It's like, oh fuck, they're just screwing it all up. I'm like, guys, no, he's 21. Just like, guys, but. I don't know. They could go a lot of ways with Carolina's whole situation, but I think if I looked at the outline right, we're going to get to that.
Yes, we are going to get to that a little bit later.
But I do think that once the offer sheet went through, Marc Bergevin did choose the least bad choice, which was taking the picks and then parlaying one of those picks, and then they took another one that they already had, sent it to Arizona for Christian Dvorak. And Christian Dvorak, his ceiling's a lot lower than Kotkaniemi's possible ceiling, but is a much, much more complete player right now.
I was gonna say you kind of know what you get with him right now.
Yeah. And he's also on a really good contract. He's got another 4 years at about, I think it was 4.5.
Dang.
And he's going to be their second, third line center type guy. Like,
That's good value.
I'd say it's real good value.
That's like Walmart. He went to
really
Walmart.
Yeah.
Get that one.
So I'm pretty happy with that. My short answer for, I think the prompt you said in the outline was, are the Habs going to be competitive this year? I don't know.
All right, then.
I think I can see a lot of situations where they end up being, and I can see a lot of situations where they're looking for a lottery pick.
What was my prompt?
It
was that.
It's gonna be interesting. That's for sure. I'm just ready to watch hockey again.
Me too.
Basically.
All right.
So
let's talk about these.
I think
guys.
we all are.
Are you gonna try to tell us that Tampa's bad now?
I'm not going to tell you that Tampa's bad. I am going to tell you that the Islanders are better. Because, listen, they got.
All right, make your argument. Make your argument.
Listen to my argument, you little. I can't.
I agree with Mike beforehand.
You would.
Listen,
You're biased.
This is going purely by what's happened in the offseason.
Actually, yeah. Who did
The
Tampa
Lightning
lose? 'Cause
lost their entire momentum-shifting third line.
Which was
Which
Let's
was
go. Let's get into it.
Goodrow, and Coleman. The most important line on that team, except for maybe the Point Cooch line. But because whenever, it doesn't matter what situation the game is in, you put those guys out there and they're going to work hard and they're going to get the puck in the offensive end and they're going to keep it in there for a little bit. Like, I don't know what the plus...
Goodrow gave me even more last second goal PTSD again this year.
That was Coleman.
Oh, Coleman. Yeah, whatever.
From Goodrow. But yeah. That line was just instrumental in them winning. And they lost the entire line. And the Islanders lost Eberle.
That's it. Yep.
And the Lightning beat them by 1 goal in Game 7. That's why I'm saying the Islanders are better.
Based on that,
So
I
all
see
that
where
being
you're
said,
coming.
Michael,
Yeah.
tell us what they replaced that third line with. I know Corey Perry's one of them.
I don't think they really replaced them. I don't think you can replace like the chemistry they had and like the work ethic, but they bring in Corey Perry. They bring in is it Pierre-Edouard Bellemare or Pierre Bellemare,
that's
whatever.
his name. Yeah,
Yes.
Pierre-Edouard Bellemare.
Yes.
They bring him in. They have a bunch of young guys that are gonna have to step up. Younger guys, I say. They're not young. Like they're like 24, 23, 24.
Ross Colton, Matthew Joseph.
Matthew Joseph's on the older side, but he's still like he can. He just needs to perform a little better.
He'll get the opportunity now.
Yes, yeah, he will. Barre Boulet. They lost Johnson, of course, to Chicago.
But Jesus, they wanted to get rid of him so bad anyway.
They were trying for so long. They put him on waivers, and then nobody took him. And then he goes and scores
There were
like
a lot of weird waivers during this last season,
that-
just because it was so many guys that are like, yeah, they're useful guys, but money.
not enough money around. Yeah,
money.
it was funny though because he was on waivers, no one takes him, and then he goes and scores. I think he got like 3 goals in the Cup final or something.
He was kind of fucking the Habs up. It was a little
Yeah,
annoying.
It was yeah.
Because he was the last second goal guy in 2015.
Yeah.
That fucker.
That's right. But I mean that's what they lost and what they gained. The one thing I will say is that their decor is the same, which is important.
Just pretty fucking good.
Yep.
That's
They got Hedman,
David
McDonough.
Savard, but you weren't really using
That's
him
true.
that
They
much
lost
anyway.
Savard.
And that wasn't like that was a deadline pickup, and he wasn't used that heavily, was he?
He was playing pretty good minutes. He was playing with
okay.
Sergachev, I think.
Playoffs, yeah.
In the playoffs, but what I will say is on the defensive end, they're a little weak down the right side.
What's the right side?
The only one I can think of right now is Jan Ruda, and then Sergachev plays both. But other than that, it's
that's
all
helpful.
lefties. Yeah, Sergachev. I could see Sergachev playing
Sergachev's
on the right
playing
side
this year.
Yes, yeah, he is. Probably gonna play with McDonough probably.
Vic.
Yeah.
I mean, there's worse pairings.
Victor plays with Ruda.
Oh.
Yeah, which they work pretty well together. So.
Come on, I want to see Sergachev and Hedman together.
Oh, I'm sure it'll happen. It'll happen. I'm sure. Probably in a 4-on-4
On the power
situation.
play.
or on the power play.
Or on the power play.
No, there's too many. We have too many offensive weapons to have 2 defensive.
Yeah,
out there.
you have 4 forwards out on the power play.
So answer me this, Mike.
Yeah.
You know, going into this, we all very much expected you guys to lose like Killorn, Palat, like lose those guys. You only lost Gord.
Lost Palat. Or no, not Palat. That was
They
Johnson.
didn't
Never
lose
mind, I'm dumb.
either
Gord.
of Killorn or Palat, correct?
Yeah.
And then
Yeah.
also
Right.
re-signed Braden Point back to some big old monster deal.
Braden Point's extension kicks in after
This upcoming season.
after
Are
this
they going to
season.
have another cap crunch next summer?
Yes. No, yeah, they're gonna.
no.
Oh, you only won back-to-back cups for it.
Yeah.
Make one more run and then Stammer's out.
We just need some injured players to come join our team. Yeah, I don't. They're gonna have another cap crunch. I don't know how they didn't lose Palat or Killorn, like you said.
Because they lost Johnson.
They lost Johnson, yeah, but I didn't think that would be enough. That's the thing.
Yeah.
But luckily
Well,
it is.
who else, what were the other contracts that moved off?
Gourd, that's
Johnson,
true. We got Gourd's
Gourd,
5.17 million off.
Sure, that helped.
Yeah, that would have helped. So that was our 10 million. That was 10 million there.
Between the two, there's your 10 million. 10 million over the cap.
We were 18 though. So where'd the other 8 go from?
Now, Mike. You're saying, yeah, they're probably not gonna be all that great. What you're forgetting is they get, I think, 4 or 5 divisional games against Buffalo this year. So
That's
there's
true.
10 points right there.
That's true. And probably
Mike.
and the biggest thing as well is we got the big cat in net still. So
I was okay. Now that you said that,
Vasilevsky, that man
What?
just ripped out my heart in that Stanley Cup final. Just
yeah,
any
that's what he does.
single moment that they got any sustained pressure, I'm just like, all right, yeah, it's not gonna mean
what
The
he-
anything.
fact
what
that
he
he
does.
didn't win a Vezina last year, like, I'm not even a Tampa fan. I don't really give a shit about these awards
think-
most of the time. But the fact that he didn't win the Vezina last year, I'm like,
Because it's not.
Honestly, it was he had just
they already
gotten
talked
one,
about that on SDPN.
and also
They talked about that on
but he didn't
SDPN.
win it the year before.
No, it was the year.
Didn't he?
It was the. It was
Hellebuyck won
Oh,
it
it
the.
was
this season.
It was
2
the
years
year.
before.
It was 2
okay.
years. That yeah, it's because that's the thing is these awards, they're not the best goalie.
It's whatever somebody chooses a narrative and then vote
yeah,
around
they
that.
work
Bullshit.
it around.
Also, Marc-Andre Fleury doing what he did at, what is it, 37?
I think he's 36. I think he's turning 37.
He had a pretty fucking good year.
No,
So,
yeah,
like,
I think
it's-
I think he earned it.
yeah. But
Eric,
you definitely, I could hear an argument for Vasilevsky, that's for sure.
And you got Big Bogosian back.
oh,
on
that's
defense.
true.
All right, so
there, we added
Before
him.
we get to
Added him on the right
Before
side.
we
but
get to Bogosian, big. I could see. So if you do, I mean, Mike, I still think Tampa's getting to the playoffs. Personally, I still think your
yeah.
forward
They're still
group
going to be
your
leading
core
the
is just
Atlantic.
so good.
That's my call.
And I really
Same.
think that like having Vasilevsky in net is important. I just think this year specifically, if his health is in question at any point, then you're really going to see Tampa like have a really tough
yes,
test.
that might be their one situation.
So that's so all of us have been saying, oh, things need to go right for our teams to do well. I think out of like all of our teams, Tampa and Vasilevsky's health, that's a huge
That's
thing,
the X
you know?
factor.
That's
They
the X
brought
factor.
in
Brian
Brian
Elliott.
Elliott, correct?
back him up.
Which
Yeah, which is better than McElhinney.
it's better than McElhinney. It is better than McElhinney,
That's
but
true.
it's
Listen,
We'll
all
see
of
how
those
much
older
better.
goalies last year, Brian Elliott, Jonathan Bernier, like that old list of goalies that like were like, how the fuck are these guys still around? Like they all played pretty good last year. And Elliott
Yeah.
didn't play atrociously bad, so having him as
shit.
like,
Philly just was.
He did.
Elliott
Elliott
was,
actually did okay.
yeah, Elliott was 15-9-2.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, Carter Hart was ass last
Carter
year.
Hart
That
didn't
was
do
well.
that was the thing.
The entire Flyers team was just ass last year.
I'd like to
everyone.
I'd like to segue. You guys say that the Lightning are still gonna lead the Atlantic, you think?
I think yeah.
I would like to segue into a team that I'd like to talk about that I think will lead the Atlantic. And that is
Don't say Toronto.
their in-state rival,
Florida.
Oh, okay.
the Florida Panthers. I think the Florida Panthers are going to be freaking awesome this year.
I don't know enough about that team. Are they starting? I assume they're starting Spencer Knight.
That's my
Right.
assumption, and Spencer Knight is going to be a star. I think.
He does look pretty good.
Like, it's nice to think that that's where they're going to go in goal, but when you have an $11 million goalie, or however much he's paid,
Yeah.
like, how do you not start him?
Maybe they do.
You let him play like he did, and then you see that, and then you don't start.
Then you're like, this is why you're not starting. But here's the thing. It's Bobrovsky, so you don't know.
That's the thing. He's kind of a very
He
year on, year off kind of
and
guy.
be a god.
Yeah, he does. He's all over the fucking place in terms of how he plays.
I'm not going to even try to contribute much to this conversation. I just don't know enough about the Florida team to really speak to it.
Yeah.
But I'll let you try and persuade me.
All I can say, that team is built really well. I think that team is built really well, apart from the $10 million shitty goalie.
I mean, they played good last year, so
yeah.
Other than the Isles in the playoffs, Florida gave the Lightning the toughest test.
I agree with that.
It was with Florida, they had so many guys this year that are like, they were having career years. Like, you got to trust that Carter Verhaeghe is just going to keep popping off after this was like the first year he really did something.
I don't see any reason. He showed flashes of that in Tampa. He just never got the playing time.
Another ex-Tampa player.
He just never got the playing time. Now he gets the playing time, and he gets playing time with Barkov, and he just wrecks.
Giving Sam Bennett 4 years after getting him for like a hot 10 after the trade deadline was a choice.
Yeah, well, we'll have to wait and see if that keeps going. But here, they also snagged Reinhardt.
Which I am interested to see what he's going to be outside of Buffalo. That will be interesting to see what he's going to be outside of Buffalo.
He played
you're all
well
forgetting
in
guys. You're all forgetting guys.
It just didn't
Joe Thornton.
add up. Jumbo Joe, yes.
So,
that man isn't.
Why is he still playing?
I know Danielle's a Sabres fan. My boss is also a very big Sabres fan, and he and I have had many conversations about the Sabres and whether or not they should have brought back Reinhardt. And I'm like, personally, the fact that they didn't bring him back blows my freaking mind.
They traded him.
I honestly can't say I know a thing or two about Sam Reinhart. He's never stuck in my head.
Trade Sam.
Other than Jack Eichel, who you are going to lose, guaranteed, you have nobody good. Keep Sam Reinhart.
That's the thing. They're
bad.
Rebuild.
Yeah.
That's what they're doing.
Again. Rebuild again.
Have you considered?
I think Sam Reinhart is a very, very good player. So.
Oh, I think so too. I think he's going to kill it in Florida. I think they've got so many decent guys that they're just going to play. I think if they can get some good chemistry going, I think they're going to win the Atlantic.
Remember, Aaron Ekblad was injured last season. He was not with them on their playoff run.
I forgot they gave Brandon Montour.
That Florida D core though is not bad. Is not too bad.
I don't know why they gave Brandon Montour 3 years.
Aaron Ekblad. 3 years?
Brandon Montour is not that bad though.
3 years isn't that long.
He hasn't been that great since he was in Anaheim.
You mean when he was playing in Buffalo?
Isn't that why they
played in Buffalo?
That's why they gave him 3 years, though, so they could just get rid of him after the 3 years, right? What's the term? Is the the amount?
3.5 a year.
That seems a bit high,
the numbers that fucking free agent defensemen were getting this summer. I guess it's fine. I'm really happy they got Jeff Petry's extension done last year.
True that.
Holy shit.
But yeah, so I think Florida. I think you got to watch out for Florida.
Way too early call is Florida's going to be vying for number one in the Atlantic.
Yep.
I don't think it's outside the box.
And I do think Toronto will be up there because it's the regular season.
Their offseason's been strange.
They had a bad offseason. They had
a really bad offseason.
They lost Hyman, which they just lost 25 goals from Hyman.
Yeah. And the only guy that looked like he gave a shit by the end there, like, holy shit.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. They didn't trade Morgan Riley, so likelihood is they're going to lose him for nothing.
They got to move him. They got to move him. If
They're not
it's
gonna
not
resign
looking
him.
like if it comes to the point where you are very surely not going to be able to re-sign him if you don't move, like, I don't know. I guess it depends on where you are in the season, and if you look like you're going on a run, then keep him because
you still can't lose him for nothing.
They
like,
thought they were going on a run yesterday.
You've seen teams lose players for nothing before.
Yeah.
You can't lose a guy like him for nothing.
I mean, you can,
especially
whether it's a good idea.
You definitely can.
Like, they can't go sign another stud defenseman if they lose him.
I mean, if they hold on to him to go on a run, if they hold on to him to go on a run and they lose again, I don't think Kyle Dubas is going to have to worry too much anyway, because I don't think he's going to be there.
That's a good point.
True.
The reason I pointed out my Isles jersey was because they lost Tavares for nothing. That was the reference there.
Oh,
folks.
yeah.
That kind of.
And then they've been fine.
Out somehow.
They've been better. Yeah.
Wait.
What the hell?
Stick that
So
knife in.
maybe that's what Toronto has to do.
They need to trade John Tavares to the Montreal Canadiens.
What? Okay.
Guys.
Yeah. What do you got?
I see. Yeah. No. So Florida, we've established that, right? I want to transition here, Mike, if that's
Do it,
okay.
yeah. Fuck yeah.
Okay. So
Eric taking charge.
So the other team I see on here, the New York Rangers.
They could be something.
And they
I
scare me
disagree.
because not only are they the rival, but they're a young team. Gerard Gallant is now the coach, gentlemen.
Oh shit, that's right.
That is true.
Is that significant? How significant will that be? That is the question.
He does seem like he's a coach that's good at getting a lot out of players, like getting the most out of what. Because like he took that Vegas team that nobody was saying was good after that expansion draft.
He took 40 goals from William Karlsson. Took it
That's
out
what
from the
always
inside
annoyed
of him.
me. That's what always annoyed me when everybody was like, "Oh, rigged! The NHL rigged it." It was all. I mean, they did. It was definitely the nicest expansion draft rules they've had, which is good. You need to have a team be good. What help is it to have a team be shit
Come
for
in
10
and be
years?
terrible. It's not good.
But like everybody at the beginning was like, "This team's gonna be dog shit," and then by the middle of the year, they're like, the NHL rigged it. What do you? It's so obvious, whatever. But yeah, Gerard Gallant does strike me as somebody who could get a lot out of a little. But Tom Wilson did seem to break them.
That's yeah.
Like what?
Trading Buchnevich.
Oh, that trade. Oh my God, I can't believe they did that. That's so stupid.
For Sammy Blais, everybody.
So
Why?
stupid.
Oh,
Like,
I didn't.
that all happened right around the same. Like, I know it was right at the end of the season. They did it very quickly after.
Yeah, it was like instant.
But it's like, I feel like it all just stemmed from that one fucking situation in that one game.
It was that 1 5-second happening.
Yeah.
Look, it was
And then
bad,
you're like,
admittedly,
you know
but like,
this guy's
guys, you were
toxic.
right
Get him
there.
the fuck out of here. I'm like, how do you get rid of this guy? Like, he's supposed to be a key piece to your team for the next how many years? And you're like,
He's gonna be good.
We'll trade
You
him.
need to be tough.
Yeah, we need Ryan Reeves and
Barclay Goodrow for
Goodrow.
6 years, which
that's long. I like Barclay. I think he will help them, but that's a long contract.
I mean, you pick up.
Barclay will help them.
You get Ryan Reeves basically to not have that shit happen with Panarin ever again.
He's fists on skates. Somebody photoshopped that. Just a big ass fist on skates.
yeah.
But it's like he's your enforcer to keep them out of trouble against Washington, so that you never deal with an issue with Tom Wilson again. Because Ryan Reeves will just come in and wreck their shit.
Tom Wilson will do stuff.
Yeah, he'll still.
He's
do it.
fought Ryan Reeves before. He doesn't give a shit.
It just feels weird because the Rangers, like, their direction last season was young speed and skill, and now they're weirdly meshing it with these enforcers. And like, listen, either way is fine. Just like commit to one, you know? It's just kind of this awkward mix right now.
I mean, I do think you can have an effective mix. Look at
the Capitals.
But
I was gonna say Tampa.
Oh, Tampa too.
But look at Tampa's high ends. Like, Tampa
they don't have
has
any
so
dips,
much skill.
though. They
like,
just have big dudes.
Buchnevich's skill, and they just got rid of the skill.
That's the thing. It wasn't all right, let's create a mix of really high end skill and then maybe some tougher but still skilled guys. It was a hard right turn into punching everybody, boys.
Now you're really like relying on Ryan Strome to play way better than he did last year. Which how much better can those guys play when they're already like maxing out what they can do? Like Panarin's going to have a better season next year, I think. I don't think he played all that great last year.
Well, he was hurt, wasn't he?
Yeah.
He was hurt.
And then he had he was hurt at one point, and then he had
that like weird section of time where he had to stop playing because of his family thing.
So it was basically like might kill my family type deal.
So like, that'll fill some of that, but like, man, it's just you lose a good talented forward.
Yeah, it's an odd situation.
Yeah. That's why they got Ryan Reeves. So if Putin tries to make a move, he's got to go through Ryan Reeves.
You try and mess with Ryan Reeves, Putin. Don't do it.
But yeah, no, that's a good point,
big thing for them, the X factor for them will be Lafreniere, because he's not going to have the year he had this year. He's going to be better.
You think so?
He's going to be better. I think
he has to be better. He has to be better.
He's still only going to be. I guess he'll be 20.
He'll be 19, maybe 20, maybe 20.
I think he was 19 last year, but
by the end of the year.
It's funny how we put all this expectation on these guys who are literally more than 5 years younger than us, or 5 years younger than us. Think back
Speak for yourself, old man.
I know, but still, come on. Think back when we were 19, and you're like, can you imagine feeling like you get drafted 1 overall, and then you're the whole like fan base of New York City and the Rangers is expecting you to be this world beater of a player, and you're 18 years old. Like, how do you?
Weren't you the one who brought up the is Lafreniere a bust conversation earlier?
Listen, I know I was really against him, but like, I'm maturing as we mature.
As he matures, his hockey takes matures with him.
No. But see, that's that's proof though. Like, as I know, Nick, you follow the Rangers. I know you're a Sens fan, but like, like the Rangers fan base, there was a lot of pressure on him, and like, it's more so impatience. It's not like you don't like Lafreniere. You genuinely want to see him be good very quickly, and it's frustrating when he's not.
Because you see guys like McDavid and Matthews and all these guys,
we're spoiled.
Drafted, and then they're studs. But like,
you're just
not everybody
it's
can
not
do
going to
that.
happen with every single guy.
Yeah.
I think I did mention. I think I said this the same exact thing earlier last season. But yeah, McDavid and Matthews really screwed every other first overall pick to come for the next few years, because they're just like, we're just going to be some generational talents, and
we're just going to be incredible immediately,
become amazing.
Another big thing for the Rangers, though, it'll depend on how their season goes, is what happens with Shesterkin. Like, is he
the goalie situation? Yeah.
Yeah,
I think he's clearly like their starter at this point, but like how well can he hold down the fort? Because again, he's another really young player. He's a very young goalie,
luckily they've got Georgiev as well, so they can run
got some options.
A half and half tandem kind of deal.
Or did they trade
I think
him?
they should do that.
They've still got him. I checked the roster.
Yeah,
they still got him.
They were thinking about trading
unless they traded him. Unless they traded him this afternoon.
They didn't. There were so many trades this summer where I'm just like,
we're approaching.
There's gonna be so many games this year where you just see teams and are just like, oh, that guy.
Yeah, I was just gonna say we're approaching a season that we're gonna be for a very long, stint here at the beginning. We're like, when the fuck did this guy get on this team? It's like, I know we've had these discussions like with each other, but like,
especially because we only saw 6 or 7 other teams all of last year.
Yeah.
So you have that extra layer of that.
Guys, we talked about the Rangers, and they they get a great coach, and they kind of seem to go the opposite direction. The team that surprised me that's on this list, because I'm looking at it right now, and like I'm like, oh, they got same thing. They got like this guy, the Chicago Blackhawks.
I think the Blackhawks
kind of making moves this offseason.
I think they're going to be good, dude.
Good's a strong word.
I don't know what to think of them. I don't know what to think of them
yet.
They've got the magic man in net, gentlemen.
They do have Marc-Andre.
They've got the magic man in net. They've got Taves coming back.
Taves is supposed to be coming back. Yep.
If he does some of those nice little bobbles again next playoffs, it might not go so great.
That's true.
But Josh Anderson does say thank you. But
fuck that guy.
They definitely.
I think that guy's fun.
They got a lot of talent on that team that could make
Seth Jones. Yep, Seth Jones is coming in. So they
For
got some
way too
big
much
names.
money.
Better hope Seth Jones is good because
Yeah.
Way too much
Yeah.
money.
Yeah, don't. You better hope he's not a bust like Erik Karlsson was when he got traded, because you're
Oh.
fucked if they are.
Yeah, true.
I can
that.
kind of see that situation happening.
He's a
but
guy
it's
that
just
I have a feeling is going to get traded this year.
Erik Karlsson.
Yeah,
I was like, I hope
don't
not
think
Seth
they can.
Jones. That would be a bit of a pivot.
I don't think they can move him.
That's what I'm saying.
if they're moving him, they're retaining like $5 million of that at
Like
Yeah,
least.
yeah, no, I
50%.
know. I just don't. I don't know. I don't know.
How long is that
he's
contract?
better.
He's got a feeling deep down in his groin.
Erik
Carlson's
Oh,
leaving.
no.
Karlsson.
Coming back. He's coming
Yeah.
back to Ottawa. He's going to bolster that defense.
you
and
guys-
he's going to be Erik
Hey, they got the
Karlsson.
cap
Look that up.
space.
They do.
While you guys look
Eric
that up,
I'll take you back
current
open
contract.
arms. You're just not going to be the number one again.
Oh no! Guess what year his contract?
Probably 26, 27.
28, 29.
Eric. Mike said 26,
I'm gonna say
27.
I'm gonna say 30, 31, just something ridiculous.
Okay, not that bad.
No, it's the way it's going to be like
Mike was
25,
spot on.
26.
Mike
Oh, I was
spot
right.
on. Yeah.
It can't be 30,
Yeah.
31, right? I don't think the term could even be that long.
No, I was trying to remember when he signed it.
Then. Holy shit!
That's pretty
That's
bad,
so
right
bad.
there. That's pretty bad. Yeah.
Anyway,
So-
we got off topic.
Chicago.
We did.
Uh,
Chicago.
I'm
Fleury's gonna
honestly,
be huge.
So
Fleury's gonna be
Fleury
huge.
and Seth Jones, those are the big names, right? Those are the guys everyone's going to be watching. We know what to expect from
And T-Dick.
Kane and
What is
some of
Tyler
them.
Johnson going to
and
be in
DeBrincat.
Chicago?
And DeBrincat.
He'll be another
DeBrincat,
third line guy, I think.
DeBrincat. Yeah.
Oh, DeBrincat, yeah.
Yep.
That's the thing. Like,
There's a mix
Very good.
there. I can see it happening. Like there's situations where I could see them getting in on like a further back playoff spot in their division, like a wild
Oh,
card
yeah.
or a third or fourth. Like that, I can see.
oh yeah, eh?
But I gotta see some more out of them. Ooh,
Okay.
geez, this year before I go saying too much about the Blackhawks.
So, Nick, do you have anything else to add? Because I want to go to another team with a C.
Yep. I'm good.
Okay.
Another team with a C.
The
There's only one
Carolina
left, gentlemen.
Hurricanes. So descriptive.
there's
Carolina
two, never mind.
Hurricane.
What the
Well,
fuck were they doing, eh?
Yeah, this is a lot to unpack, but to keep it short, my big thing, guys, Freddie Anderson and Jonathan Bernier. That's the goaltending.
No.
situation.
Ranta.
Because not Jonathan Bernier, because they traded Nedeljkovic for Bernier's
Oh.
rights and then did not sign Bernier.
So here's
So Anderson?
so
Anderson
yeah.
and
It's
Antti
Ranta.
Ranta.
So here's what
from
they did. They
Arizona.
basically went from really arguably you could say one of the best. You could arguably say the best goaltending tandem in the league with
Wasn't even tandem. They had a set of three.
Ned
They
and
had
Mrazek.
Reimer.
Oh,
they
that's
had
true. They did
Reimer,
have Reimer.
Nedeljkovic, Mrazek all rotating last
Yeah.
year, and they were all pretty solid.
they all played really well. So they went from that to one of the most injured duos
I
gonna
was
say,
gonna
I
say,
think-
at
that's-
the goalie position.
I think Anderson and Ranta might have played 40 games between them last year.
Wasn't good.
Like,
But I mean, in the
It's a hell of a
Anderson's defense,
choice.
They put him. Toronto put Anderson on LTIR there at the end of the season for.
he was injured. No, he was injured. He maybe could have come back for like the last week or two of the year, but he was out.
He was hurt.
Yeah,
Okay.
I think he was hurt the whole year. In one way
yeah,
or
like he
another.
was dealing with it for a lot of the year. He never really got established, and then Jack Campbell was like, "All right."
Anyway,
Jacob was like, "All right, I guess I'll be awesome."
we don't need
Yeah.
to talk about Toronto.
True that.
But yeah, Carolina, and then not paying Dougie Hamilton, bringing in Tony D as one of the replacements, and then spending $6 million on Jesperi Kotkaniemi after you couldn't pony up money for either of Hamilton or Nedeljkovic.
Questionable.
Yeah, I mean, there's
I don't
more
know,
talent
man.
in Hamilton and Nedeljkovic. There's more talent now in either of those two
Hamilton and
guys than what you're
Nedeljkovic
going to get out of
than-
Kotkaniemi.
You never
Yeah,
know.
I-
Kotkaniemi's got a high ceiling still.
There is stuff I've seen from Kotkaniemi where if he can actually put it all together, it could look pretty dumb on the part of the Habs. But I don't know. They certainly took a gamble. I'll say that. They swung for it.
Let's see if it pays off.
The last big Habs gamble trade was shipping Subban out of town, so
That worked.
it worked. It looks like
Kind
Bergman
of.
might know what he's doing. So Let's see.
Well,
I don't know if I'd go that far.
So guys, what do you think about? Do you think Carolina makes the playoffs? Like genuinely, do you guys think Carolina makes the playoffs?
Probably.
They're in the Metro. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Offensively, they didn't really lose a lot.
I think
They
it's
just
going to
lost
be
some back end. They lost a lot of back end.
I
Yes.
think they're going to be more of a third spot to wild card range team this year than they were last year. They just, I don't know. I don't have a lot of faith in that goalie tandem they brought in. They got a lot weaker on the back end. Their forwards are great. Their forwards are fucking fantastic.
Yeah, they got a good.
I will give them that.
They'll be able to
they
score
got a
for
great
sure.
forward core, but like, I don't know what
But
that.
can they
tandem
stop pucks?
That's the thing. Can they?
The question.
Did they bring any defensemen in to replace Hamilton?
Well,
Tony
Tony
D.
D'Angelo. Which listen, if he
a
can
choice.
stop being a dickhead,
Yeah,
then he might do okay.
he might be
But
okay,
he needs
but
to stop being an asshole
should
to his
probably
teammates.
stop making his entire team hate him. That might be a start.
But you know what? Here's the thing: he got booted out of the Rangers organization, so maybe that's made him be like, all right, maybe I need to, maybe I need to change the way I look at things.
Maybe. Let me look at their back end though. They still have Jacob Slavin, awesome. Brady Shea, pretty good. Jake Gardner just went on
He's out.
IR. He's out. Brett
Tampa will
Pesce's
take him.
pretty damn good. I think they brought in Ethan Bear from Edmonton.
Ah, that's
And
right.
I think
Ooh,
Ian
that's a good
Cole.
signing.
I think
That's
Ian
a good
Cole is
signing.
also new.
Decent
Ethan
signing,
Bear though
honestly.
he could be very good. It's actually a very similar to the Kotkaniemi situation where there's
Okay.
a lot of potential there, but like
So they may
it's
be
not-
better than we're giving them credit for.
They may
Okay.
be the main area. The main area that I have concern with them is their goalies.
Yeah.
Because
Same.
they went from a really good group
Yep.
to voluntarily paying more for older and more injury prone.
Yep. Why would you get rid of Nedeljkovic? What in the hell was that?
It was also like they had just gotten that homegrown guy. I mean, hey, it could turn out that was his 1 year flash in the pan, and he doesn't end up being good. They better hope that's the case.
They better freaking hope, yeah.
Or Stevie Y is on the verge of building another dynasty in fucking.
Oh, I
He's
think he
doing
is.
it.
He's doing all
absolutely
of the
doing
right
it.
things. He's
absolutely
doing all of the right things.
He's
with
going to
Detroit.
leave soon in the hands of a capable assistant.
Yeah.
And then
Give
they're
it
going to
like
win
3
in
to
5
4
years.
years. He's going to move on to Buffalo, maybe.
That doesn't always work. Listen, that doesn't always work.
Just
We can look
hops
around other
to all the
sports.
shitty teams and fixes
It
them.
doesn't always work. No, it might not work out in Detroit, but
That's
like
true.
he's doing a lot of good stuff. There was one guy from, who was it that he got from Chicago who was an RFA that they didn't even qualify, but it was a guy who killed it last year.
Oh yeah.
It was Pew Suter.
Yep.
Pew Suter.
Yeah.
That's who we
What's
got.
his first
yeah,
name?
which is
Spelled
kind of weird.
it's Pius,
Pius.
but it's or Pius.
Pius. I thought it was Pius. That's how it was pronounced. Pius.
Okay, yeah.
If you're gonna be American, you say pious.
All right.
But yeah, there was that
Guys.
signing. I remember. What else did they do?
Wait, Rick's
This-
got something.
Well, no, I want to transition. I was going to say more C teams because I forgot the next team also has a C in it. But did they do anything else, Benny? I don't want to.
Yeah,
No.
I don't think so. I think that's those are the
That's
big
enough
moves
time
at
on
least.
them.
Yeah, there's
Oh,
those are the
They
big
brought
moves.
in.
Yeah.
They brought in Sam Gagne.
Yeah, there you go. There you go.
Yeah.
Did they bring in any
defense? Oh, Nick Leddy.
We're talking about Detroit now.
Yeah, it's still
What the
Detroit.
fuck?
Yeah.
We're not talking about Detroit.
Okay, we're talking about. Oh, yeah. We're not now. The other team with the C, the Vancouver Canucks.
So I did want to talk about them.
I know nothing about.
I did want to
They
talk
still
about them.
haven't signed either of Hughes or Pedersen.
I know that.
Yep, they haven't done that. They also had to basically boot Virtanen off that team.
Oh yeah,
They-
he got
they-
arrested for sexual assault.
Yep.
Yeah.
They also lost
Great.
Braden Holtby, who's now part of the 2015
Dallas.
dynasty team down in Dallas.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
What is that? He was not good in Vancouver. I know.
No.
I watched Tyler Toffoli end his career there.
Listen,
But-
so with Vancouver, I didn't watch a ton of Vancouver, but I kind of followed. I follow their big guys. I
Didn't
like
you?
them.
You
I
had
like
7
some of
games
the guys.
against him.
Their primary goalie last year was Thatcher Demko, who had faced the highest volume of shots out of I would bet money on this out of anybody in the league because I had him on my fantasy team. He had a shite load of shots against.
Like you can basically take Vancouver's season last year and just throw it in the garbage. They were off for a month.
They were off for a month, and then they had to
and
squeeze
the amount of
like all
guys
those
that had
games in there.
COVID, and from what I remember, who was it? It was Bo Horvat came out and said like some of the guys actually got like super affected by it, like they were having some pretty bad breathing issues.
Real
Yeah,
bad symptoms.
I remember hearing something that was probably on SDP about them saying like, oh, one guy came back and he barely could walk upstairs, and you're talking about a professional athlete.
Yeah. So like, I don't think there's a lot to glean from the back half of that season, and the only problem is the front half of their season was also bad. But I don't know.
They ran into a hot Tyler Toffoli.
They did. They really
brought
did.
in
Tyler Toffoli was like, "You don't want to pay me? All right, fuck you forever."
They brought in Jimmy Vesey, who I like. Also.
He moved already. He went somewhere else.
Are you sure?
They brought him in on the waiver wire last season, and I'm fairly certain he got signed by somebody.
They took him from Toronto, right? Yeah. I couldn't remember if it was.
I
them
thought
or...
Jimmy Vesey stayed there.
I don't think so. I
have
Googling
no
it
clue.
right now. He went to New Jersey.
The big thing. Oh, that's another interesting team.
He's
They've
a
done
good
some
player
stuff.
that just doesn't get good shakeout. Like he played in Jersey, or not in Jersey. He played in Buffalo.
Yeah.
He got playtime in Toronto. He just didn't do very much.
Yeah. Well, Toronto's also heavy on forwards.
Yeah, it probably
know.
wasn't the best situation for him, but yeah.
I like him personally, but anyway,
Next
I mean, he
VC
could be
guy.
useful.
Yeah,
But Vancouver.
They're in a bad spot. They need to get those guys signed back, and they don't have the money to do it. But they also shedded. Shedded? Is that a word?
Yeah, they shed. I believe
got
you
rid of
used
that
shed.
Wild Erickson contract out, and they
They
sent
got rid
that
of
to-
3.
They
There were
sent
3
like
shitty
all of
contracts they got
their
rid
they
of.
sent all of their shit contracts to Arizona and got back an questionable OEL.
Older OEL and Connor Garland.
Yeah, and then OEL was already. Wait, let me look at the.
What were the 3
But you
contracts?
you need to have somebody good on that defense. Like, OEL is going to have to be the guy who that defense is centered around for the next how many years?
But he is
Unless they
getting paid
sign
7.26 for another 6 years, and he is 30, and already showing. And
Somebody
that's-
also played for Arizona,
that's
and
worse than I thought it
Arizona
was.
hasn't tried to do shit for the last
this
5
is true.
years
They've been
because
cheating,
everything's
tell
been
you
so
that.
suspect with that team.
But
So
what?
if you're a player on that, listen, if you're a player on the Arizona team, could you imagine going there every day and be like, what the fuck? Like, are we going to be a team tomorrow? Like,
Yeah, it's
You know
not
what I mean?
good.
It's a bad
But
situation for
If
sure.
I was on
Continuing with
Arizona, I'd
Vancouver.
simply look at the Sabres and say, "Thank God I'm not." there."
Actually,
That would
yeah.
motivate me.
They're the West Sabres, dude.
Because Arizona, they usually they don't usually make the playoffs, but they're usually like they're sniffing, like they're usually in a little battle for the bubble
They're not
spot.
gonna this year.
The last no, they
yeah,
won't
no,
this year.
no.
Not this year. No,
Who's even in net for them?
I don't know. It's not good.
Yeah.
I think Carter Hutton went there. I think.
Oh, you might be right. He's
He's
traded.
so bad.
He went to the West Sabres.
But back to the Canucks. On top of this is in the year where they have to re-sign Hughes and Pettersson. They take on that Oliver Ekman-Larsson at $7 million a year, and then give Connor Garland $6 or just shy of $5 million for 5 years, and give Tucker Poolman
Yeah.
4 years at 2.5 a year.
Yeah.
No idea who Tucker Pullman is.
Why?
You could have just made that name up.
I'm fairly certain he was with Winnipeg last year. I want to say.
just made that name up.
I have no idea. Yeah.
Like I don't know what they're
They made some
doing.
questionable moves there.
Like the first thing should be Quinn Hughes and Elias Pettersson, or at least should be top priority. I mean, it might
that
take a lot
should
longer.
absolutely be top priority. Hughes over
But they were-
Pettersson. But
Also,
both of them. for
this
sure.
has been said many times. Somebody needs to destroy Jim Benning's phone on July 1st.
Yeah.
Well, not July 1st. It wasn't that this year, but
The
free
start
agency
of
day.
free agency.
Holy shit, that man.
So
I
we're gonna go.
personally
So real
think though,
quick.
like if they can figure out their cap situation,
Why do they have to figure that out though? Because all of the contracts.
Yeah. No, I know they owe a lot of money to like Besser and Horvat too, which doesn't help. But if they can figure this cap thing out and get Quinn Hughes back, he's again like we talked about with. Sorry.
He needs to bounce back. He didn't have a very good year last year.
He was the
kind
only
of
fucking one.
It's another conversation like we were talking about with Lafreniere. Like, you want him to be good. He is going to be good. He looks good, but he also has points where he doesn't look good.
He's young. He still has to figure it out.
Having Ekman Larson there, I think, if they can get him back on that team, having him there and putting them on the same pairing together is going to teach that kid a lot.
It could.
Because
I think that'll definitely help. Because he was the Canucks defense.
Yeah. Absolutely.
He was
100%.
At whatever age he is.
So basically, Quinn Hughes and Elias Pettersson, that's the big thing. How OEL will perform, and the Thatcher Demko goaltending situation. So Vancouver, is kind of in a shitty spot right now. Again, they can have some things go well for them, or some things go poorly.
Did you guys see who they brought in as backup?
No.
My boy Yarrow.
Oh yeah,
Yarrow.
that's right.
Yarrow. That's actually not bad. That's not too terrible of a goal.
He did not have a great year last year in Boston. I will admit that, but was a lot to do with that was when Jeremy Swayman was coming up. There was a lot of competition, and it kind of became clear his job was going to be taken. You could tell it was sort of frustrating him. I could very easily see him if he gets. I think he's going to get more limited games because I think they are going to just take Thatcher Demko and run with him. I could see Halak kind of coming back and having a bit more of a bounce back year because before last year he was solid as hell in Boston in his backup role behind Rask, so I could definitely see that working. The other thing that is possibly going to benefit them a lot is they are in the Pacific Division.
Yes, that is a crappy division.
Yeah.
But they still got to play everybody.
I mean, your Pacific, you know who's leading the Pacific. We all kind of know what's going to happen out there, but I think they're going to be a while. I think they'll make the playoffs this year. They're not going to be as bad as they were last year. They can't be as bad.
Well, the other team in that division that probably can't be as bad is Calgary. Or they might just be bad. We don't really. They might just be at that point.
There's so much we speculate so much about what's going on with Calgary, but I bet you if you looked around that team and people who follow that team close, there's probably so much animosity going towards those guys. Nobody, from everything we see, is they don't want Kachuk on that team,
which I don't understand.
So if us, a scrub fifth line podcast can figure this out, it's got to be the same there. They gotta that the tension in that locker room must be unbelievable.
It's something. They brought in Daryl Sutter and then immediately inked him to 2 or 3 more years as coach.
Well, they're not good. They're also going to be a lot worse now, losing Giordano.
That's true. What is their defense going to do?
They're just trying shit. They're like
Markstrom.
They're like, we should be so much better. They're just like, fuck it, let's try some shit.
And then they bring in Coleman for how many years? For how much?
They all got
4 years, 5.
I was gonna say they all got very similar contracts. Is it
they gave Blake
6 years,
Coleman
5 something?
They gave him 6 years, 4.9 a year.
4.9?
Yeah.
Coleman's
AAV's not terrible, but
I really
I don't personally think Calgary's going to be good next year. They have some forward. They don't have dick for defense besides Markstrom.
So
you want to hear their defense score right now?
Yes.
Noah Hannafin. All right. Rasmus Anderson. Chris Tanev. Yeah, that was he was
good.
one of their bright spots last year. He was good. Nikita Zadorov, who they just grabbed, which I honestly can't say I know enough. I can't say I know enough. The beauty, Nick, you know him well. Eric Goodbranson.
Yeah.
For some fucking reason.
Got him in there.
Juuso Välimäki, who I think is just one of their younger guys, is like a prospect from what I remember. And then Michael Stone, which is very perimeter 6'7" guy.
So here's the thing.
Brother.
All the other years, we've been they're good. This is going to be a good team. This is the year they're going to do it. This year, Nick doesn't think they're going to be good. I don't think they're going to be good.
I am unsure.
Is this the year that they're good?
I think they have an opening. They're in the Pacific. They have an opening.
They have they can make the
Could they
playoffs
be
fairly
good?
easily.
Yes,
shouldn't
they could be good. But this core of offense guys have been together for like 5 years
And have routinely
roughly,
not done
and
it.
have proven to not do shit in the playoffs. Like
Though they didn't have Coleman.
Johnny Gaudreau doesn't do shit in the playoffs, and we've seen this. What's the other fucking guy's name?
Monahan.
Yes, Sean Monahan. For some reason, I don't understand it.
Shawnee
They
Monty.
want this guy to be their freaking best player on the team, and he's good.
He's got to be.
But again, he doesn't do anything in the playoffs. When they got in, like, the only guy that looked really good for them and looked like he was trying for some parts of that season was Kachuk. And they don't want him.
That's the thing in the NHL, and I think it's the same in probably every other sport. You need your stars to be stars when the playoffs come around. You just need to. They need to be. If your stars aren't performing, you're not going to go far at all.
Hey, Mitch Marner,
Baby.
how about you perform? We know you're listening.
Right. So
All right.
that'd be amazing. And
I
also,
am one to talk, but cool off on the Mitch Marner. Like, fuck.
Yeah,
That guy has
Also,
had a
guys-
summer. Holy shit.
yeah, he's fine.
guys, before we get into Mitch Marner, we not only did we stray away from the Canucks, but we used another C team, the Calgary Flames. I'm
That's
glad
true,
we got
yeah.
some
There's a
commentary
lot of
on that.
C's in the
But-
NHL.
But
We also
But
talked about
speaking of
the
C's,
Coyotes.
the Coyotes. Speaking of
We're all
C's, we were talking before this. What would a captain do when not this season but next season there is jersey advertisements? Because in
Ooh,
the
are
Stanley
we
Cup playoffs,
predicting
you're gonna have
jersey
that
ads?
awkward patches. Yeah, the awkward patch thingies going on.
Yes.
So jersey ads.
I don't know.
2022.
Here's the thing with the jersey ads. Which side does the C go on? I don't know.
I think it's usually left. Usually
Yeah,
left.
yeah,
I
okay.
know Detroit, I think, does it backward because they're weird.
As long as the
but-
jersey ad goes on the other side, you don't have to worry. Just put it
So-
on the
Yeah.
other side.
But then the Cup Finals come around. You got the Cup Final patch.
Oh.
that
You
goes
do, yeah.
here. Does
That's
the
true.
ad go on the shoulder?
It's probably.
I bet they put the ads on the shoulders.
If you look at the only other sport that's doing this right now is basketball, right?
Yeah, I think the
Basketball.
NBA.
As long as it
And you
stays
have a
in
little-
that vein,
The Lakers,
fine.
the Lakers have, and this is the only one that I know because I don't really
Is it
follow
Wish?
basketball anymore. They have Wish right here on one of their shoulder straps,
Yeah,
and that's it.
it's pretty tiny. Like
It's
it's
very small. People think about jersey ads. They think about like the KHL where they're just fucking peppered with with ads and shit all over them. Like it's not going to be like that. They're going to have they did it with helmets this year, didn't they?
Yeah,
and
they had
nobody
helmet
cared.
ads.
I
There
mean,
was some
people
diehard
cared.
like old
Yeah,
people probably that were
some
like,
people cared, but then like once it got once the season got like, when did you notice? Other than when they score and they're doing like the close up view, and you're like, oh, Bell on the Habs. It's like
But like, who cares?
yeah,
Yeah.
it doesn't matter. Like
it
nobody
doesn't
cares.
affect it at all. Which it was the funniest thing when the jersey ad news came out. I'm on hockey Twitter too much, entirely too much.
You're
I
just
know
on
this.
Twitter too much.
Yes, but I saw like in one of the threads on one of the stories about it or whatever, some person was like, yeah, well, I haven't been watching games for years. I've only been listening. It's all too commercialized now. It's not hockey anymore. And I'm like,
Yeah, that's
no, just simply no. Like, what do you mean? It's
Yeah,
just,
I don't know.
it's hockey. Like, it's gonna look exactly like you're up on the freaking.
hockey's a literal business.
You're up here, like shooting
Power
down
play-
here. You're not gonna see the tiny little fucking fuck off.
It's too
And like power
commercialized.
plays and penalty kills have been sponsored by like
Everything's
corporations.
sponsored.
They
The
do
arena,
it in
the
fucking
arenas.
college.
Yeah,
There's
They do
one
they do
arena.
sponsorships on that stuff in college.
Yeah.
Like, wasn't it Plattsburgh? They were sponsored by
Casella.
Casella for their power play.
which
They're
I
like
always thought was
dumpster.
funny because it's like they're trash.
Because their
so,
power play sucked ass.
So,
Um,
so if a college team is sponsoring power plays, an NHL team is going to sponsor power plays too.
They're gonna sponsor everything.
We'll put a goddamn logo of a sponsorship. What are they going to do? Put Bella, like Montreal's going to put Bella on their shoulder too, like big.
They actually haven't released what they're going to do as their shoulder thing because
Well,
I think
here's-
they are sticking with the helmet ads. I think
Yeah.
I'm not positive on that, but I imagine they would. Just because it worked fine this
I'm
year.
sure
and-
financially, like a lot of these teams are now in the red because of the
Oh,
last
yeah.
2 years of
Oh,
what happened.
yeah.
So like
Most of
You
them
know-
are usually most years anyway.
for the
There's not
casual
that many
like,
profitable
person to-
teams in the league.
for the casual
New
person
York.
to like say, "Oh, this is stupid. They're just doing it to make more money." Be like, "Okay."
I mean,
you
they
do
are.
realize, like,
And-
you know
But,
how
like,
much
we need
Yeah,
money.
Yes, absolutely, they're doing it to make more money. Like, we're not dumb, but you also, I don't think any of us understand the cost to run an organization like that.
No, it's a lot though.
And
Eh?
when you're not getting ticket revenue or sales in a stadium, like, where's all this extra money coming from? Like, you're only
Yeah.
going to get so much from a TV deal to try and pay your players. Like,
Yeah, no, they
how? How
they
are you
got to
gonna do
open
it?
up new sources of revenue.
Exactly.
And then the
So-
like argument everybody always brings up is like, oh well, we start doing this and then you destroy the
a
sanctity of the
slippery slope.
jersey and it's gonna look like the European. I don't think it is.
I
Like
don't-
it,
yeah, I
it
don't
from
want
all of what
that.
we heard, it's gonna look like the same kind of. It might be a little bigger, I think, than the NBA shoulder patch from what I remember
I mean, they're
reading.
bigger jerseys, so
But like, I mean, if it starts to go much further, yeah, I'm gonna. If it gets to the point where we start having bumper stickers across the entire front of the jersey, then yes, I'm gonna get a little
Benny,
mad. But
So Benny, to address that, this is important, and I think I was listening to SDP, and they mentioned you can actually soccer teams. They have obviously
I
big
don't
advertisements.
like
as
that.
the
no,
logo,
that's stupid.
but-
That's fucking stupid.
But here's the thing. They make a lot of money, obviously, but soccer players, most of the time they're photographed is during practices. So their practice jerseys have advertisements all over them. So what people were saying, rather than the NHL, you're worried about the game jerseys being all plastered. If anything, they can make revenue.
That would be
by
an
putting
interesting
stuff on the
one.
practice jerseys,
Yeah.
because it's just practice jerseys. No one cares. Like, just like when they're skating around practice, like just
Yeah.
Matthews and Marner. Let's say the Toronto media is taking pictures of them. There's your advertising.
in terms of media, yeah, you do get a lot of photo and video at practices.
yeah.
So it
So
definitely
I
could
think
be something to look
practice
into.
advertisements. Yeah, I think we in our lifetime, we don't have to worry about something bigger than a patch just like that and a helmet.
I don't think so.
advertisement. I really don't think so. People are freaking out about it for no reason.
I kind of like the idea of shoulder patch ads. You can have two.
That could work.
Yeah, and I think it would honestly
And they
be
don't get in the way.
more. It'd be
Like right
more.
here?
Yeah, it'd be more discreet too. Yeah.
I
The
kind of like
problem is
that.
a lot of teams have shoulder patches.
I mean, yeah, the lightning.
Yeah,
Or
you
you
got-
get
You
something
could put them
like,
below the patches or
or if you
whatever.
did something like on your trash,
Back
like
here or
right
something?
here.
Yeah.
No,
Like
like
above
down
the
like
thing?
below the circle.
Here.
Like somewhere around there.
Well, that's
So it'd be between the shoulder patch and the numbers, I guess. But
that's gonna look like ass, man.
yeah, so maybe this isn't the best idea.
That's gonna
It
be
depends
so
on how you did
cluttered.
it. If it was like a block, like if it was a rectangle block across it, it would probably look okay depending on what they did. But anyway, that's a
They need
lot.
to- I
of
will say
discussion
they
on-
need to get better at color matching because seeing the red Scotia S on Toronto's helmets,
I hate
it's
it,
just
man.
like
I freaking
seeing
hate it.
seeing the blue PPG paints on Pittsburgh
I
helmets.
hate it,
it's
dude.
like-
I understand you have corporate colors, but fucking change them so it doesn't look
I feel like it
awful.
wouldn't matter. Yeah. The Habs got lucky in that they were putting white Bell on a blue helmet or blue Bell on a white helmet,
Yeah.
and it worked fine.
Yeah.
But yeah, there were some that weren't great. But
Yeah.
also, even then, it was just like, all right, but it's you see it when they score a goal and they zoom down on them, and then you don't really see it any other time.
You know which one I liked a lot actually was the Bridgestone on
That did work. I
the
actually
Predators.
didn't mind that.
I liked that.
Yeah.
That was cool with the B.
Yeah.
They just
Alright,
have a cool logo too.
The Nashville Predators.
Yeah.
So and like Nick said, we discussed the ads, I think, to the fullest extent. And this next thing on the list, I don't know if you guys have seen this or heard about it. I kind of wanted to talk about it, but it's if someone else
Could
has
we
anything else to say.
possibly postpone that to the next week's episode because I have not watched it yet?
I also have not.
Well, okay.
I don't even know
so
what he's talking about.
Oh, okay.
Explain it.
So, all right. So I found out about this on SDP. And it's a documentary on Netflix. It's an hour and a half. It's called Untold Crime and Penalties. And you guys should watch this week. I do want to have a little discussion about this next week. I think it's really awesome. I'm Italian, as you know. Just the whole like Italian thing. You live in the city. You always joke about like, oh, what's your dad in the mafia? This, that, yada yada.
This documentary
is about a man named Jimmy Galante, and he basically is a real life Tony Soprano. For those of you who've seen The Sopranos, he's Italian. He has some ties into some interesting things. I'll just leave it at that. And he purchases a UHL team, an expansion team. And the name of this expansion team is the Danbury Trashers. And they actually existed for a season. Not Thrashers,
the Trashers.
Not Thrashers, the Trashers. And they actually existed for a season in the UHL. And it's a really interesting documentary. It combines incredibly Italian people with hockey, which for me is pretty hilarious.
I haven't seen it yet. I do know the gist of it, though. The other big sticking point is he bought the team for his 17-year-old kid who became the GM.
Oh, dear.
That is a true fact.
Yeah.
That's it.
That sounds interesting.
The greatest right there, boys.
So we are busy. We are busy next weekend. I believe all of us are going up, right?
Yes.
That's right. Fifth line's going to be back together again. All in the same spot. We're going to
2.0, baby.
We're going to touch each other.
Let's go. The fifth line
like hugs. We're going to hug. Okay. All right. And
can we vlog it? Can we have it a vlog?
We'll get to that.
Fuck no, I'm not vlogging that. God damn it. I'm on the final steps of the last one now. But going into that, so next week, we're not going to be doing a formal podcast next week. Instead, we're going to be having our vlog of the Long Island trip is going to come out.
It is podcast length from what I've been hearing.
It's about the length of a podcast. It's a little long, so it's going to be it's going to be a watch, but I'm telling you guys, it's going to be enjoyable.
It's going to be a show.
I think it's going to be a show. That's right. And if you want to know the little inside joke that Nick just dropped on you, here's a little preview, if you will, of our Long Island vlog. We made it to the beach.
I'm just going to stay under this
Fifth
the whole
line
time.
podcast on the beach, baby.
Here we are at Fine Jones Beach.
What is that, Nick?
Let's go.
It's a goal.
Target for a USB and booze?
A thing. A USB thing.
And booze?
It's not, we don't see it.
Or the Browns. Or the Yankees.
Give him a show.
All right, so we're back. We hope you enjoyed that. We're going to be dropping that. What do you guys think? Sunday night or Monday? I think Monday.
Monday.
Same as the podcast normally comes out.
Sure.
Yeah.
But yeah, so Monday the 26th. That's not the right date.
You're going to get that like all wrapped up this week.
Right
and just
Monday the 27th.
Just schedule the upload before you come up for the lake.
That's right, dude. So Monday the 27th, we'll be tweeting out and everything about when exactly it's going to be coming out. But
you might be seeing a little sneak peek teaser coming at you on social media.
There'll be some teasers. There could be some teasers. And by the way, speaking of social media, down in the description is our Instagram, which is fairly new. We just have a couple posts up there. But we're going to be putting some clips and some pictures up every now and then. So go check that out. What do
Maybe
you
I
guys...
can actually make our TikTok too, and then
Could-
I'll
could
use
do a
those same
TikTok.
clips.
Yeah, I could do some TikToking. A big thank you as well to Eric and the Traiano family for hosting.
That was a good damn
that
time.
was a really,
yeah,
really
I
fun
feel like
trip.
we don't say that enough. That was a lot of fun.
So yeah, big
Of course,
thanks to you guys.
no. You guys are always welcome here. Seriously, if the three of you show up at any time, my parents will be like, "Oh yeah, come on in."
Even if you're not,
You don't have to
you're not
explain
even there.
yourself.
You're not even there. We'll just be like, hey, we're on the island. We need a place to sleep.
Yeah. You guys can be covered in.
Don't you give me that
covered in
open
blood.
invitation.
No questions asked.
Don't you give me an open invitation. I'll just show up.
You'll use it.
Don't worry, guys. We're gonna go to an Isles game and go to Borelli's.
Bro,
after.
that I would. That,
We would
that
go
be fun.
only if they win.
I'm gonna wear my Seattle jersey.
Well, that'd be cool.
Wear your
get it.
Seattle Eberle jersey if you get one.
Yeah.
You got to be getting a gourd one, I
I'm
imagine.
getting gored. What the fuck?
Yeah.
I'm not getting Eberle. No offense to Eberle, but
Yeah.
my boy
that makes no
Gord.
sense.
it's my boy Gord.
Yeah.
I am probably not getting a Kale Fleury one. That's the other thing. I'm very glad with the players that both of the expansion draft teams had taken. Like the Habs got out pretty easy on all of that. But also it would have been fun to be like, oh yeah, I'm gonna get this guy because like
Like a
attachment.
Carey
but then-
Price Seattle jersey.
No, I wouldn't have liked that. That would be kind of funny because if that had happened and I had bought a Carey Price Seattle jersey, I would own a Carey Price Seattle jersey before I had owned a Carey Price Montreal jersey.
That's right.
The only
that's a
Carey
sin.
Price jersey I
It's a
have
sin.
it's an NHL
All-Star
All-Star jersey from I think 2017 when he was
Yeah.
a captain.
I remember
which is
that.
weird. It's got a C on it and it's a goalie jersey. It's strange. I bought
Is
it
that
at
the black and yellow one?
Yes.
Yep.
The
I bought
golden.
it at the NHL store when I was down in New York one time.
Dang
Rest
it!
in
Yeah.
peace, NHL store.
And they put
Fucking
the name bar on
NHL
wrong.
store. Open back up. You ruined it.
You've ruined it.
Yeah.
But anyway, you guys got anything else?
I think I'm good.
It was good.
Solid
it was
Epi
good,
boys.
Good first episode back.
Yeah.
She's a long.
I got the podcast mouth going here. We're back in
My
back in
cheeks hurt
action
from
here.
talking so much.
I don't
like
have
it
much
was-
communication.
it was a
with
very
people. You're making me talk too
Eric-led.
much.
It was a
Eric,
very Eric-led episode. It was so nice.
As was said in his Instagram post,
Yeah.
he has come in
yeah,
with a
I said it.
vengeance
He's coming in
Yeah.
feeling confident.
I'm ready.
to speak more,
I'm ready.
and I love
Yes.
it.
This is veteran Eric. He's been around the league a bit. He's ready to go.
like
Step
Lou
up in the first
Lamoriello.
line role.
Just like Lou Lamoriello, we're gonna go old school. I'm gonna shave this beard off next episode.
No,
I'm
keep
gonna
it.
age
Nah,
10
keep it,
years.
keep it.
I'm gonna be at my prime in my late 30s.
I can tell you, I was full of boldness in this episode too. I can tell already.
Yeah,
I
you were.
was hot and bothered on some of those things.
Yeah, he was.
Whoa.
Yeah, he was
Well,
hot
That's
body.
what
think-
this episode should be called. Hot and bothered.
Oh, hey, there we
Yeah,
go.
it's
There
not
we go.
bad,
Now I don't have to think of one. Thank you. All right. Well, we hope you enjoyed our first episode back. Please hit like and subscribe. Like if you liked it. Subscribe if you want to see more.
And check us out on Instagram.
Check us out
and
on
Facebook
Instagram,
and Twitter.
Facebook, Twitter, all those good things will all be down in the description.
Link down below.
And keep an eye out for some sneak peeks into the vlog.
Oh, you're gonna be like doing little clippy doos
I
on the
might just.
Instagram.
I might just.
Oh,
It's gonna be a show.
and we'll end it with that.
It's gonna be a show, boys.